Right.
Well,
So,
here we are.
Podcast, George.
Yeah. Didn't think I'd ever do a podcast. Bloody hell.
Well, no, I mean, it just gives everyone, I think, a bit of a chance to say we can answer some questions, the ones we get asked all the
lot.
And we can, just, well...
Have a chat.
Have a chat. And people can spend a bit of time with us.
That's what podcasts are all about, really. Just having a chat and so that folks can, you don't necessarily watch it, but it's something to listen to, isn't it, Lord? That's what it's about.
It. No, I personally, I actually listen to a lot of podcasts.
See, I don't. I've never really, I listen to my local radio station, and that sort of does me,
Yeah, see,
I've done podcasts, but
no, I don't listen to a lot of radio these days. I genuinely don't. I'm either listening to audio, because I do a lot of driving, a bit in the machinery, or on the road. I'm either listening to an audio book, or a podcast.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
So yeah, as I said, that's
here we are.
Here we are. So I never thought we'd be doing one, but
no.
But yeah, I think that's nice because it's all right looking at a video. 15, 20, 25 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
But as I said, you think, somebody's put a video up. I'll watch it when I get home. Sometimes you don't. You get a chance, you forget or whatever, or other things come up. Nice thing about a podcast, if somebody wants to sit and watch this and see us silly buggers on there, that's all well and good.
Yeah.
But you can just literally put it on in your tractor or your truck, whatever. When you're on a journey or you're at work,
you've got to concentrate and just listen to it like the radio.
Exactly. Yeah. Without the music.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably put some.
You're right.
I'm alright, mate. Just whacked my hand, but no. So that's good. Now, look, let's kick straight off with some questions.
Go for it.
Let's go for questions. Right. Here's what we often get asked: how did you start YouTube?
Well, unlike a lot of channels, I think today that set out to, I'm going to make a YouTube channel. I just sort of stumbled on it, really. I've been watching YouTube for a number of years, and but I always had a real interest in video and stuff. I think that's been fairly clear over my sort of YouTube history.
George Saunders photography. You always like the video and the photographs, and
any chance I get, I'm filming something interesting. Machines working, a job going, whatever. I really do enjoy that sort of side of it, and I was sort of doing these videos for my own benefit before YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I've been watching YouTube and I thought, I'm going to stick one of these videos on YouTube, and it was about a minute and a half long of me trying to do some ploughing when I should have been ploughing. And,
how long ago was this though?
9 years. I've been doing this.
Really?
9 years. I can't believe it's been 9 years.
Isn't it?
I mean, it's crazy, really. Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing it nearly up to 7 years.
Well,
and to me, feels like I've been doing it for a couple of years.
Well, how long have we known each? I mean, we've known each other through YouTube. That's how we met.
It's another question we often get. How did you meet? Through YouTube.
That must be
3,
4, 5. It's got to be more than 3 years. It's got to be
4. It's pretty.
4 years, I think.
Yeah.
It's mental, isn't it? Where does the time go?
And you think in that time we've gone all over Europe.
Yeah, we have literally.
And honestly, I have had some of the best laughs, and when I say laughs, I don't just mean, that was quite a funny occasion. No.
You'll think the same thing I'm thinking. No. The night I actually wet myself.
Right, listen, for anyone else,
go on, you tell it.
No, it is one of those, but you had to be there. Because it wasn't actually that funny.
No, it wasn't.
You know when you start a laugh with a chain reaction going on then?
That's what that was.
That was it.
Yeah.
George and I, we had a room in Germany, Hanover, for Agritechnica.
Yeah.
And, George and I always get a twin room, so we got separate beds and whatever, but, we could just get everything together in one room. We could discuss at the end of the day what we've filmed.
There's no point having separate rooms.
Because sometimes you don't often get rooms that are close. They might send one of you on one floor, it's difficult. So it's all right, not a problem.
Don't bother me,
However, They come back. I'm not even going to bother telling this because it's not even.
It's not fun. I can't imagine
Right.
it's funny. Like you had to be there, didn't you?
Come back at like 4:30 in the afternoon. We were shad. We'd walking around all day. We'd travelled all day. Anyway, I just said to George, like a flippant remark, to try and be funny, I just went, stick a TV on, George. We'll see if there's any. And what I wanted to say was Bundesporn, German porn, right? Because everything in German is like Bundeswehr, Bundesrepublik, Bundesliga, Bundesporn. And I said that I couldn't get
it out, could you?
I could not say it for the life. And George was like, "What? What's funny?" And I was trying to laugh, stop laughing to tell him. I said, "But," and it just got. And he's then standing there like, "Well, what are you trying to say?" And then I couldn't say it, and I started to laugh more, and he started to laugh, and it for about 5 minutes to the point. This is no word of a lie. I think I ruptured, or I thought I'd ruptured in between my ribs or something.
Yeah.
Actually,
you were in pain.
I was in pain.
And
George pissed himself.
Literally, you hurt yourself. We were laughing that hard.
So when they say, "Oh, I pissed myself laughing," George
it's true. It's true. I actually did.
He was on the floor.
Yeah, I was
curled up.
Yeah,
and I still at this point hadn't said what I wanted to say, and I couldn't, which made it all the worse. So that's the truth. So George Saunders pissed himself.
Yeah.
Right. But can you remember? There was another one.
Was there?
Yeah. Paris, you, me and Ben in one room, Dino.
Yeah.
Right? And I had that put-me-up bed. That was meant to be, a twin room, so 2 single beds, but then they had this put-me-up thing, and I said, I'll sleep on that. And I had...
What was I doing? I was on your bed for some reason.
George was in his red boxer shorts. Right?
Yeah.
Stepping over my bed to get to the window, to close the window.
To close it, right? Yeah.
Because the air traffic going into Charles de Gaulle.
That was it, yeah.
And I just got my camera, and it looked like George, because he went out of the window to lean to grab the window and shut it. And as I've got a picture of George with these red boxer shorts standing over me, coming in through the window, and it just looks like a rapey Santa.
That's a rapey Santa. We were in stitches then as well, weren't we? Oh dear.
And it's just one of those things. People listening to this will just go, well, yeah.
That wasn't funny, but
no, and it isn't.
No.
I know that.
But thinking back to it,
when I couldn't tell you, anyway, we've had some laughs. So it's through YouTube, purely through YouTube that we met. And I've said this to a lot of people. If the cameras are turned off now, and I said, right, I'm done with the channel, and so are you, we'd still go out looking at places and whatever together. We've become bloody good friends.
We don't just put it on for the camera. You
can't, mate. And I know there are other people.
Some people try, didn't they?
They try to team up and partner up and it don't work.
No.
If it works, it works.
Yeah.
It does.
It definitely works.
But that's but then again, not just the laughs, but we've just seen some amazing stuff.
The opportunities that present themselves have been
phenomenal.
Yeah, again, started with YouTube. Didn't think I'd be going to Technica with me mates.
SEMA and all that.
Exactly.
Looking around factories, trying out kit.
Yep.
Absolutely, the opportunities, and that's the I think for me. That's one of the biggest things, but it was, and it's like so we've done stuff with like Talking Point, and that, to be fair, you might as well look. There's a question we always get asked, on here, and that is,
where's Wally?
Where's Wally?
Dino, sorry. Yeah.
That was that in that book. Do you remember? Yeah. Where's Wally?
Yeah, stripe jumper. Yeah.
No, but where's Dino? And I'll tell you, I spoke to Ben last week, and right, so what for once and for all, this is the. Where's Dino? I'll tell you where Dino is. He's very busy with his work. He travels a long way to work and home at night. He's putting in the hours, right? That boy works. He does, and he earns his money, earns well. He's got a good job, and
he's really enjoying what he's doing
really
as well, isn't he?
He's doing. A lot of opportunities ahead of him. He's also got a young family.
Yeah, and that's key.
Oh, mate.
You and me haven't.
Yeah, exactly. So we're a lot freer to do stuff. Ben isn't, because he's got a young family. I'll tell you something now, right? And this thing goes out to everybody that's involved in farming with a family. families are sacrificed in farming and always have been. You know, fathers having to leave before the kids get up, and they're home when the kids are in bed. They don't see the kids. They don't see them grow up, and the kids grow up without really seeing their old man. You know, seeing the dad, and the mother has to do both roles like that, and it's bloody hard. And I don't think farming families get enough recognition for that. And even when you're out of that, like Dino's now in plant, you know, machine,
and he's still
doing that. Yeah. He's still doing that for his family. I tell you what, he is a bloody top-notch bloke. Always said that. He is, because family comes first. He could be out playing with us if he had the time, but like he said the other week, he said, "I'd love to come back, you know, back and do some filming." He said, "And I will." So that's just a little excuse for everybody, and he will. But George and I have a lot more time where we can, you know, we haven't got a family to look after.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to knock Ben one bit for putting his family first.
No.
I'd take my hat off to that bloke, you know, because he is a family man. He's got a bloody lovely family.
Works hard and he
works hard and looks after him.
Yeah.
So, however, that's the fact of the matter.
Yeah.
It seems that's a big reflection on modern society. A lot of the people, though, asking the same thing. Where's Dino? Where's Dino? Because do you know what? They aren't even interested where he really is or what he's doing.
Gossip.
They want gossip. They want us to turn around and go, or we've had a fallout, or
we don't like
Dino
anymore.
Didn't fit, and that just shows modern society.
It's modern mentality.
You know, it's piss poor. I think that really is. Because that's all they want. They don't. If they were that interested, they'd contact.
They go on to do,
like I do. I keep in touch with them. You keep in touch with me. Keep in touch. And, you know, we're all got busy lives, but we still stay in touch. And you get, where's Dino? Because they want gossip. And do you know why that is? Because they've probably got all going on in their own lives.
Yeah.
And that just, I think, you
it's
know,
sad,
you sad muppets if you've got nothing better to do. But there are a few that are genuinely, you know, they ask me, and you know, have you spoke to Ben lately? How's he doing, mate? Say hi, and you know that's genuine.
Yeah.
And, you know, we do pass it on. But no, he was full of it last week. He was, you know, he said, but you know, as next year, as things settle a bit more,
he said, he might be able to come out with us.
You know, and have a. But as I said, at the moment he's putting in the hours. So fair play to the old boy. But we've had some laughs with him, haven't we?
Oh yeah, I mean,
you know.
He's just a legend. He's just a legend.
He's funny without being funny because he's so
realise
dry,
does he? Like?
You know. So it works.
Yeah, works.
But there we are. So now, straight on to this other one. Here's one we always get asked about YouTube. Do you earn any money from YouTube?
Do you earn money? Yeah.
Everyone thinks you get a YouTube channel and you earn millions because they see.
That's what people do a lot.
They see people like Casey Neistat.
Who?
You mean who?
Who? I never. Casey Nice was. What does he do? I've literally not heard him.
Fucking hell! I might as well just pull the plug on this podcast now, mightn't I? And on your YouTube career. He's like one of the biggest YouTubers ever. Like PewDiePie and
yeah, I've heard of PewDiePie, Logan Paul, Jake Paul. Fuck! Not that I watch them, but you cannot not know about them. I mean, they've.
I only really know about them through their box and stuff.
That's all I know. Yeah.
But no, but he made it just his lifestyle.
Yeah.
Casey Neistat made YouTube, and then I tell you one I do, like Pete McKinnon. He does like photography, cinematography, and stuff like that, and you know, YouTube are just awesome. The places he's gone. Now they do make mega money.
Oh yeah,
YouTube is there.
Can be done,
but
it's like winning the lottery though. Not. You know, you buy a ticket, doesn't mean you're going to get the jackpot, does it?
I reckon was it 92%. So 92% of YouTube channels that start either finish or just fizzle within the first 18 months.
Well, I quite believe it. I mean, it's...
Because people, they realise, I'm not getting the views, I'm not getting the money. Oh, it's not worth it.
They're doing it for the wrong reasons.
They are.
That's the trouble. Like me and you, we never started our channels for that reason. That has resulted, you know, we have earned money through.
You can earn money. Yes, you can. And the other thing is, so everybody goes on to Social Blade and whatever. How much they earn and whatever.
Yeah.
Mate, that is so far off.
I actually, I've got honoured. I had one the other day. That a video that
somebody did a video about you and your earnings.
Yeah, I was like, oh really? I'm that important? Well, not, but.
No, you can earn money through YouTube.
Oh yeah.
But if that's the reason you're doing it, the chances are, and I'm talking 99.99% of you,
you ain't going to get anywhere.
Really disappointed.
Yeah.
Really disappointed. But you know, you can earn a bit.
Yeah.
But like I said, the other thing people don't understand is it depends on. So you could, let's just say you did something about race cars, and I did something about speedboats. Your demographic, that the age group and the type of people that watch your channel, you might have a lot less viewers, but that type of person that's into racing might have a lot more disposable income.
Exactly, that's key.
The advertisers will want to go onto your channel. They'll pay more to get an ad on your channel than if I had these little radio-controlled hobby boats. They wouldn't. So I could have 5 times as many viewers or subs,
but earn less money.
But earn less money per thousand.
It's all that. Was it CPM? I think
CPM and the metrics. Like listen, it's you don't need to just.
Yeah.
People get so wrapped up in it. You make what you make, right? But I think for us, it hasn't been the money, as we said previously, as the opportunities has brought us.
Yeah. And if I wasn't getting ad revenue, I'd still be doing it. You know,
yes,
it wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean,
it wouldn't change my, the channel at all, really.
The other thing, people get paid partnerships.
Yes.
You know, you can get sponsorships and stuff like that. And like, you can get paid promotion. Some companies will team up with you and they'll pay your costs, or if you're travelling somewhere, they'll pay your travel.
Yeah.
The other thing which you I didn't know this until recently, and I've had to start looking at it. If we work with a company and we say, look, our viewers can you give them a goodie bag? Can you give them a flask, or a, whatever?
Yeah.
That's paid promotion, and you have
to state it.
State that that's paid promotion. If they give you a pet, give your followers some stickers and some pens, that's paid promotion.
Yeah.
So you quite often now see that on YouTube channels. This contains paid promotion. It doesn't mean you're getting £10 million a day.
And you're going to say that their product, no matter how good it is the best thing in the world.
That's one thing.
But it's it certainly applies to me and you, because we don't.
George and I,
we've got standards.
We have got standards.
I think that's what you'd call it.
That's what you call it.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of offers, and a lot of YouTubers will jump at the chance. Mate, we'll give it to you at like real discount, or we'll give it to you free. Just say that's really good.
Yeah.
And we get this all the while.
I mean, you've seen them on my channel. I've done LED lights, Thomas LED, UTV, and
how many sort of old chintzy knockoff lights do you get offered?
Exactly.
And you turn them down.
Yeah.
Thomas is one who said, "Mate, there's a reason you."
Well, when you get offered something like that, and you have to,
you can't turn it down.
It's useful for what I do, and
they're bloody brilliant.
I give a good, honest review. I mean, they do just happen to be brilliant lights, but you get an honest review no matter what.
But
I know you've had some.
I've had some real
stuff
deals
as well, haven't you?
I've had stuff offered to me, and you can have the product afterwards, and that's a product I really like. And then they've turned round as I'm about to do the video and go, by the way, we need to see the video first before you publish it. I said, well, that's not what we agreed.
Yeah, it's new.
No, but we need to see it, and we'll tell you if we want you to change something, put something in, take something out. I'm like, no. You want a product review? I'll review the product. And it's a good product, so I'm not.
It was going to be a good review anyway.
No, we don't allow that. Well, you didn't. That's not what we agreed. Had you said this in the first place, I wouldn't even be here.
You'd already been sent the. You'd already got the product as well.
And I turned round and I said, in which case, come and fucking take them. And I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
And they did. They said, oh, well, there's, we can take them. I'm not interested. If I'm going to review something, look, it's all with me. It's about due diligence. If it's a power tool, if it's a digger, a tractor, a piece of equipment, a truck, whatever, right? Before any of you even see a video from me, I always go through my criteria, as in, if I was buying that bit of kit or that truck or that tractor or digger myself.
Yeah.
Now, is that a product I'd buy or I'm interested in? Yes or no? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm not going to show you on video. I'm not going to say you lot, I don't think this is any good, but you go and buy it because they're paying me to say this.
Yeah.
No, it's not my thing. But if it's a yes, I'd have a look at that. Right. Now, let's have a little look at it. Is it a worthy product? Is it something I could review? Yeah, I think it is. Is it something I'm interested in? Yes, I think it is. Then I'll do the video. And that's why people say to me a lot of the time, well, you never really slag anything off. No, you're right, I don't. Why would I? I've already done that due diligence. If I just went into it and said, yeah, I'll have it, mate, I'll have a freebie. Oh, this is, then, but what's the point? I'm not in there doing. People do that to make a name for themselves. I don't do that. If I've got something on my channel, I'm reviewing, I'm interested in it.
It's something same for me,
same as you, George. And I've always said that, listen, I think we're both fortunate enough to be in a position where we don't have to rely on YouTube or whatever it brings us to make a living, right? So therefore, we don't have to go cap in hand or begging to anyone. We work with people that we want to work with. And we then are able to look at products and whatever that we like ourselves. And I think if we like it, we'd like them to show our people, our followers.
Exactly, yeah.
So no, we're not going to give you some crap review on something because we've already done our due diligence.
Yeah, we've already done that bit. You don't get to see that.
No, that's already done. So no, we don't. I think the day I've got to read off a script that somebody wants me to say how great their thing is the day I just say, do you know what?
Time to pack it up, mate.
I'm done with this.
Yeah, no, this. It gets to that stage.
I love when companies come to me and say, look, we've got a new tractor. We'd love you to come and look at this. Come and see it. Have a look round. Tell your followers, that's a tractor I'd like to have a look at. I'm interested in that, and we'll have a look. And then we'll film and we'll show you. Now, we're not saying go and buy one. Whether it's a screwdriver or a bloody 50-ton excavator,
go and have a look.
If you like the look of that screwdriver or that excavator, and you think, do you know what? There's one or two things he didn't look at that I would have done, or there's one or two things I'd like to. I'm going to get one on demo. That's fine. Done. Job done.
Exactly.
I've generated enough interest for you to have a look at it. I'm glad I have done that. Thank you very much. I'm happy with that. It's nice.
Job done.
Job done because I'm happy with that. Whether you buy one or not,
it's up to you.
Down to you.
Exactly.
I ain't forcing nothing, but the integrity side of it, I love the opportunities, as I said.
Yeah.
Go on, George. What's the next question?
Right. So next question: what is your favourite farming job?
Oh well. Really, I think for me.
You sound so enthused about
that. No,
well, really.
It was one of those things. It was one of the worst jobs, as in long hours, horrible conditions. It was normally cold, up to your bloody arse in mud and whatever. But sugar beet, lift and and cart and beat that was good. And it's one of them things that's about the camaraderie, I think.
Oh, what the crap with I know where you're coming from with that.
Horrible job, really, because it is always cold and muddy and miserable. That's that time of year. And whenever you get a breakdown, you're going to get covered in mud.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? And I tell you what, this sort of typifies, I suppose. Is that word typify?
Well, you just said it. So,
I just said it. We're going to go with that. Mucker's word.
It's typify.
It basically was, we had a breakdown on the beet harvester. Me and my old mate Andy got out the tractors, we were carting beet. The driver had to start pulling beet out from under the machine. And we stood there and we were moving then from him out of the way completely.
Yeah.
And we were just sort of laughing and joking, and that's a horrible thing. And he just, horrible job. And he turned round and he just went, "Don't you two ever stop just laughing and joking all the while?" And we just sort of both looked at each other and went, well, Andy said to him, "Well, brother," he said, "this old job's shitty enough as it is." He said, "We can either laugh about it or we can cry."
Very true.
And he just turned round and he just went, yeah, I suppose you're right. That was it, you know. And I think that I like my ploughing and whatever. I used to love doing that. I used to plough a lot, especially when they had the old John Deere, 7.8 and 7.9 and that, but that 7.8 20. And we used to play around the clock with that. So I used to do night shifts, Alan did days, and we would play basically 6 days a week, round the clock. We had about 5,500 acres to go at, so we had to get over
that's
it.
A lot.
And that trouble was, it weren't all one farm, it was across the county.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time we spent on the road moving between fields. You know? But yeah, it was alright. Again, one of those jobs, really, but just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I always tried to make the best of it. Because we were pressing a lot at the time, we were pulling the press, so you couldn't see how good or bad our player
didn't really matter,
But had enough pride, wanted to make the job right, so you'd always just tweaking that plough all day just to make the job interesting and just make a better job.
Yeah.
Pulling in a bit of sand, just fleeting up a little bit, just bit of bloody old heavy clay, just dive in a little bit, make turner over it. You know, just makes the day go.
It goes a lot quicker, doesn't it? Yeah.
What about you?
Similar, mate, really. I've always enjoyed a bit of ploughing, especially on, you can probably laugh, on the TW, because it's reminiscent about the old days, isn't it? You know, when I was growing up, seeing these TWs and that ploughing, and that just brings back lovely memories.
I mean, because obviously I've used TWs, you know, I actually drove them in anger.
Well, that's the difference.
Did you, or were you just, you obviously younger than me?
Yeah.
You just saw them as a kid.
Just saw them as a kid, you know, sort of come down the road, run out to the road, mate, that sort of thing, and so it's completely different because I get to play on the TW for.
Well, you get to live that time you never lived.
Yeah, in short periods. It's sort of thing, you know, when you do sort of 2 or 3 days on the trot, long days on it, you know about it, like, you know, which is, you know, it's not so appealing then, is it? Like,
2 or 3 months on the trot.
That's what I mean. But I do enjoy that. Just, you know, like you say, you're always trying to, you know, just improve your plan a bit, and, you know, just adjust this, adjust that.
To F-Reg 25 Super Q cab.
Oh yeah.
And aircon packed up one season, and so you had to have the back window open, and that was in the sort of winter time, so you weren't getting dust, luckily.
Yeah.
But the old turbo was sat just out front of that windscreen.
Yeah.
And the back end, she was boiling hot all the while, you know, all day, pulling hard. Yeah. So you had the turbo at the front of you had the back end at the back, you're like old spit roast chicken. You know, just heat. That's all I remember about the old TW, was bloody heat in them.
Yeah.
You know,
You didn't need a heater on a cold day, did you?
No, you don't. Not at all. Not at all.
So, a bit of ploughing. Kind of similar to you with the carting and that. It used to be sort of baling, bow cart. That was always used to be a good time of year because of the camaraderie you had, and sort of, because long days, like, you know, you're doing sort of 15, 16, 17 hour days, sometimes all night, you know, doing sort of 12, 24, 36 hours.
What was that on, like silage and that carton silage?
No, straw, like, straw.
Why don't you get a pit for your silage?
It's funny, I don't think I've ever been asked that before.
You've never been asked that? Why didn't you have pits on? Why did you have bales?
Honestly, I'll get tired of telling people.
What is the answer?
I don't know.
It's just what you do, isn't it? It's your system.
That's what they've always done. It works. To tell you the main reason is they've got control over it.
Yes.
Got a lot of little fields. We can cut them,
bale them
when we're ready.
If you've got to go that day, you could leave the bales there for a couple of days.
Yep.
Weather might turn, then you can come back and cart them.
We've got the flexibility to do it.
You ain't got to wait on a contractor. Well, we want it to done today, you know, we can't get it for a fortnight, or we're coming in today, we're not ready.
Yeah. So that is the biggest reason. It just gives us flexibility.
Every time you do a bale wrapping or a cut, I always just go, you're just going to say, why didn't you use pit silage, or why didn't you get a clamp?
Every time. Like I say, I get tired of explaining it, like, you know. Yeah. But that is the reason. I'll still get asked. Yeah, you'll see.
Different accounts. Lord Muck 2, Lord Muck 3. Yeah. Working with people, especially.
Yeah,
that's one upside. That's what farmers. It's community, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
You know, it's a community thing, I think. So, yeah.
Does make days go quicker, doesn't it? It does.
What's the next one?
What we got next? What would you do if you weren't farming?
Well, you see, these days, farming for me now is something that I can enjoy again. It isn't my mainstream.
No.
And I can do it and enjoy it and spend the time I want to farm.
It's more of a hobby sort of thing.
Well, it really is almost
isn't it?
like a hobby for me now, which is nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll rephrase it for you then. What would be your ideal job if you did? If you're looking for a job to do that you'd always wanted to do that you'd never done. I know it's a tricky question.
I'm going to sound really boring this because again, throughout my life I've done a lot of stuff because I've been fortunate enough to be offered a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
And I was once told, when I was very young, I was told, look, if you get an opportunity offered or somebody offers you a chance, and you can, even if you got go through hell or high water to get it, you want to do it. Take the opportunity and do it. And I always have done. And I've been all over the world. I've been in some wonderful places. I've been in some places that it's a good thing that people probably can't even imagine. But it's taught me more than anything to appreciate what we have and what's around us and those that are around us. So I've kind of always done what I've wanted to do. So what is on the list now? What else would I love to have a go at? I don't know, George. I genuinely don't know. What?
Well, your life has, like you said, you've literally done everything, haven't you? I mean,
that I've wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done stuff that really I can say people could only dream of, but I only dreamt of them as well. But again, going back to what we were saying about Ben and that, I don't have a young family or nothing. So my ties, I don't have as many ties.
Yeah.
And I've been able to, do you want to come out to do a job? We've got a contract out in West Africa or North Africa. Yeah, I'll be out there.
Yeah.
I ended up living out in the Sahara for 4 years, working out there. West Africa as well, jungles of West Africa, Ivory Coast, places like that. All over.
So that's your answer, basically.
Yeah, all over Europe.
You've done it, lot,
States, and stuff like that. But I think if there was a job, if I had my time all over again, and this is always a difficult one, a job I always would like to have done, had I had the qualifications, and I think what vets do, veterinary surgeons, is incredible.
Right, yeah.
However,
I can see where you're coming from with that.
Here's the caveat, because I'd love to be able to help animals, big or small, right? But that don't always go with plan. Unfortunately, with animals, like they say, if there's livestock, there's dead stock.
Yeah.
And that's the bit I have trouble with. You've got to be able to, whether you want to or not, no matter how you're feeling, you've got to be able to switch off. When things don't go your way, you lose one, you got to switch off. I would struggle.
That's bloody hard, isn't it, mate?
Bloody hard.
So I know they're your own, but I was going to say it's hard enough with your own, but I'd be the same.
But
I think.
What about you? What about if you weren't an international movie star?
I'd be an international porn star.
Oh, would you?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, midget porn.
Yeah.
Midget porn over. That'd be your niche, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The giant midget.
Yeah. I don't know really. It's a tricky one. I've always fancied. You don't know what I'm going to say yet.
What's the fact you've always fancied? Story of your life.
I can't go straight this now.
See, this is the sort of stupid stuff. This is one of them times.
This is how it goes.
And then we just start laughing.
On.
Nothing funny. It starts to laugh, and it's contagious. But go on. You've always fancied
going into mining.
Into mining?
Yeah, as in
Marmite.
Yeah. No.
What, gold or
back in
ore?
No, yeah, ore.
Or iron ore, something like that.
Yeah, really? with the old drag lines and
so open cast or actually underground?
Yeah, no, open cast. Definitely. I couldn't.
Mate,
I mean, my hat goes off to the coal miners and that are working 1,000 feet down and 2 miles in to a coal mine, working a face. Honestly,
and that's in relatively good conditions
compared to what it was. I mean,
can you imagine?
Can I imagine? We went to Wales about 3 years ago, and I think it was an old tin mine that they'd done up to make it a tourist attraction. So they put handrails in and lights and that sort of thing. And we didn't go very far into this mountain now, but it's what it's making my hair stand up on it thinking about it. The feeling you get when you get in, especially when you get away from the entrance and that, you can't see the.
It's cold, isn't it?
Cold, completely. Well, this wasn't completely dark because it was.
They were in the dark.
Yeah, they got candlelight or very little, and I mean it's just and they were working with picks and hammers, and it just doesn't bear thinking about. But so it definitely wouldn't be underground mining, but. Always had a fascination when I was young of, Big Muskie and Silver Spade and stuff like that. But they don't exist anymore. No. I mean, sort of the biggest mining shovels are sort of 4,000 ton.
Like big old Marios and stuff.
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania and that. Now you just brought on the stuff from there though, drag lines. Now, you know me. As I said, I've done a fair bit, and I've driven a fair bit of kit.
Yeah.
D8s. I haven't driven a 9. I've driven a 10 in a high drive.
Big stuff like real big stuff.
Yeah, I've driven. Like I said, 360s, diggers, dozers, drops, and whatever.
Nothing.
One thing I've never driven is a drag line.
Nothing compares to a drag line.
I stood on the side with my mate. Because he was probably one of the. He's in his 50s now.
Yeah. But
he was a young boy, one of the last drag line drivers.
Yeah.
Like out of his time, even though he's 50 now. Well in his 50s, in fact. But he was taught by the old boys. And I stood and watched him. And I stood and watched him pull a lever and stand on a brake, which stopped one drum, which allowed another one to go. And then he just lets that lever go, which then starts another drum. He comes off and breaks that one.
It's an art form.
And and then even then the more modern ones, where you just got those little levers, the little air levers and all that. That's still an art form. Watching them take that and drop that bucket and then drag it in as they're pulling it up.
Yeah.
And I know that's the same, I suppose, as a 360, as all coordination.
Yeah.
But, mate, honestly, that's one thing I've never driven. That's one thing I can sit and watch hours of foot. Now, for me on YouTube.
I've seen videos where you're just looking at the bloke in the cabin.
From above him. I know. Skill. Did you know? You got to remember this, right? That was, I just told you, pedals and levers, right?
Yeah.
They'd stop a brake and that would bring one, right?
Yeah.
So you imagine one of the first proper, in this country, 360s, a Hymac.
Yeah.
In the 60s.
Yeah.
Now, who was driving that? You imagine you've been on a 22 RB or something, and they've got a new machine for you to do them ditches this year. Boy, got one of them hydraulic excavators.
Oh,
really?
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Lovely.
You've got to go from everything you've known to this thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't remember this now, they had big long levers in there to operate the boat. The curl on the bucket, or was it a dipper, was done on a pedal.
Oh, so
that's half and half.
Mimic the point,
so
controls.
That replicated it. And then from that they went away years later to all on your hands, just track with your pedals.
Yeah.
But you'd want to be a miner. What would you, right, so I've got you a job tomorrow, tomorrow. In an open cast iron ore mine or whatever, what would you want to be doing? On a dump truck? Are you driving that big face shovel? What are you doing?
I'll build a face shovel,
Like a big old lever or something.
Yeah.
Like that behind you.
Yeah, like that.
That
there,
one George's been doing in his Saunders shack.
Yeah.
Are you going to do some more of that?
I am.
You've filmed
now.
Now,
yeah. Oh yeah. Now winds come back.
So something like you'd like to drive something like that.
Love it.
I'd like to. That'd be nice.
But whether it be one of them things that, like, once you've done it for a week, you go, oh, really, doing it. But I don't think it would be, because work is work. I think it'd be a bit like ploughing. You'd always, you can do like anything. Really, you can do a good job. We can just, do
just sit there and take the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can actually do a good job, actually put your heart and soul into it,
and have a bit of pride.
Talking about one of them things, have you seen a lot of the new loading? It's been out a while now. A lot of the loading shovels, no steering wheel, just levers.
On the levers on the
which people say that's weird. Well, like as a dozer driver, that's not.
Yeah.
That'd be.
I'd be able
to do that.
So much easier.
But you get somebody out of a loading shovel that then would had a steering wheel.
Yeah.
Go on to 2 levers. That I'd imagine but again, it's that step up, isn't it? That changeover. What you're used to.
You got to train your brain to do it. I mean,
you have.
I had. I was fortunate enough to have a go on a timber forwarder a couple of months ago. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you film that?
I did film it. It's not been out yet, but I have filmed it. Yeah.
You never said.
That's one of the things
You just did and forgot all about it.
Yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, so
that's like me last week flying the space shuttle. I forgot to mention.
Did you forget to mention?
Oh, just I
wondered if that was you coming up.
Really,
blasting over the house.
You on a tin forwarder?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And
now, was that like a timberjack, as in with the grab and the winch on the back, or was it one of the ones where they load like the ponds, where they load the?
It's got a bunk on the back with a timber crane.
So you got the bolsters and you loaded logs in the back.
Yeah.
And that
it was a Komatsu. Can't remember the model number.
Dargo horse, you are, aren't you?
Yeah, that was lovely, mate. That was
lovely.
lovely.
I've never driven one. You've annoyed me now.
That was. I can drive a digger.
Yeah.
I can make a digger do what I needed to do.
Mess,
But that blew my mind. That was, again, you've got 2 joysticks, 2 little joysticks, I think 2 thumb wheels on the joysticks, a lot of buttons.
Yeah.
And this thing has forward and reverse on the joysticks.
Yeah.
Steering.
Yeah.
Of course, the crane.
Yeah.
It's up, down, boom in and out.
Yeah.
Telescope in and out. Rotate the grapple open and close.
You swing your seat round to do this.
Yes, yeah. And that was just mind blowing. I could not get my head around
Honestly,
it.
I'm envious, George. I'm envious of that because they again was it the Irish boy? Is it David Cuddy that's got a channel? He does it on Instagram. Man, is he funny? Real dry.
I've not come across him.
Funny
is he?
Yeah. And again, just like mind blown when they just know, they walk them things through, don't they? There's
don't have to think about it.
Mud, and they just know what they're doing, don't they?
It's just an extension of their body,
Yeah.
I want to do that. Way it goes, But that blew my mind. To try and operate.
So what else have you done you didn't tell me about?
Well, there was that time when I did.
Apart from that,
but no, I mean that was.
That's brilliant. Look, do you know what? There's an exclusive for everybody listening in.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watch one of your videos.
It's the first time for it. Mate. There really is.
I genuinely, George, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
I'll have to sort it out, won't I? It's been on the back burner for about 3 months, I think that is.
But this is the other thing people don't realise. We have a lot of stuff what we call, like, say, in the can.
Yeah.
Those of us in the biz. No, but it is a term. It's you get footage and you think, I'll use that, and then you go back and you think, bloody hell, I got
all that. Yeah.
This afternoon when I was getting this all packed away, George, to come here, I found another photo bag and I found the little plastic cases with the micro SDs in. I don't know what, I suspect I know a lot of it is on there, but there's some real old gold footage I've had over the years on there, and there's stuff that I knew I filmed. There's some American flying stuff on there, Mustang interviewing Mark and people like that.
Yeah.
That's all on there. I ain't been able to find the bugger, and now I've found it. But that's, again, there's stuff there I can probably over the winter make a few videos out of. That might be from a year or two back. But
that's often quite interesting,
isn't it?
for ourselves, like
But is it? Bloody, I remember that stuff you forget you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like forgetting to tell me you've been driving a bloody forward.
Yeah, well, there you go. A dark horse.
No, but I am really pleased for you, and I am really excited to watch the bloody thing.
Yeah.
Did you break it?
No, I didn't actually. I think if I'd have been left alone on it a lot longer, I would have been doing some damage because it's a powerful machine. It really is.
Incredible, aren't they? Incredible.
But certainly take a little while to get your head round. Yeah.
Right, so we just got a cup of tea now, George.
Yeah, a bit of coke.
And what?
A bit of coke.
Coke.
Yeah.
Coke, George says, yeah. Now, we're going to get crack on with this.
Next question.
Yeah. But what hobbies do you have, George?
Well, a few. I like my old machinery. Do you class that as a hobby?
That's always a funny one, isn't it, George? Because that's one of those things, like, you know, let's just say you were ploughing with a brand new Fent at work, all week in a Cavernland plough. And at the weekend, you get your little old Fordson out with your 2 fire ransoms.
Yeah.
And you go off and you can see your mates and you relax and you do a bit of, you know, match ploughing or whatever.
Yeah.
You know. Is that a hobby, George?
Well, it's a busman's holiday, really. That's a hobby if your main job is in an office.
That's
working
how
as
I
an accountant,
see it.
isn't it?
Yeah, I would say a hobby is doing something that
Completely different, isn't it?
I suppose
Sort of
so.
thing.
I suppose. Well, George, what do you do out that you're not paid to do? There we go.
That's
Right. What do you do that you're not paid to do that you enjoy, George?
Got me fish. I've sort of recently gone on to
Your fish pond.
Yeah, got me fish pond. Got me aquarium. Well, you've seen the fish pond, haven't you? You've seen the koi in it and that.
Really good. They're bloody looking fantastic. They are.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a
heron had visited again.
I have had not since a year ago. I think we had a visit, and I mean we net it now, so you know we can't get in there. But yeah, we did lose a few, you know, but goes with the territory, doesn't it? Like, you know.
Yeah. But it's nice that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we sort of recently got back into fish keeping and ponds and that sort of stuff because. You know, I remember, again, it's funny how it always goes back to things like this, always go back to your childhood. I remember digging the pond at home with my dad, you know, cool. I don't know how long ago it was now, it must be 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Right.
And, you know, my sister had an aquarium as well at home.
Right.
And, you know, now I've sort of got my own house. I'm sort of married with Liz and that, and you got the opportunity to do things like that again. Like you know, this sort of garden when we moved here was all overgrown and a bit of a mess. So you can put your stamp on it. Like, and I thought, I'm going to blooming build a fish pond.
Yeah,
you know?
You've done a good job of it, George. You know?
Yeah,
not bad old size either, is it?
It's not bad our size, but it's one of the things I sort of did obviously a bit of experience before, but did a bit of research before I built it, and one of the sort of bits of advice was make it big enough. Because a lot of people build something like that, a fish pond or whatever, and they don't make it big enough, and then they end up expanding it.
You laugh. We always have it when if we got any jobs where we're building. Somebody says, "Bush bought some land.
Yeah.
I want a lake.
Yeah.
And what's the first thing they want? Well, an island.
Yeah.
Or a huge lake, and then they fill the middle of it with bloody land."
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so you think yours is big enough? Is it your pond? Or?
I thought it was. You know, I felt it was. To be honest, I was a bit constrained by the boss.
Yeah.
When I was building it, and it's a good size. It's probably 12 foot by 8 foot.
You can't really go any further. Unless you go into your neighbour's garden.
Oh, I've got quite a big garden. I'm gonna
go lengthways with it.
Yeah, what I've got in mind is to build another pond.
Yeah.
And join the two with, well, essentially a little river.
Yeah. A
little river. So the fish can then swim, all the way down from sort of the top pond to the bottom pond. Does that make any sense? Probably not.
What do you mean, like on different levels?
Well, not on different levels. I mean, some people do it on different levels, and they'll have like a stream or waterfall that,
and just have it pump.
Pump up to the head pond, to the the top pond, and then it will.
But you can't swim up that though.
No, but I think if you do the same, if you've got a salmon lift on it, right? But I think if you did the same principle, pump from sort of one pond to another,
you'd empty that one pretty rapidly.
Yeah.
Another 5 now.
You'd end up with one empty pond, one full pond. Yeah. No, but then have a channel that's deep enough for fish to swim down. Yeah. It would constantly recirc, wouldn't it? If you're pumping from one.
Not just joined.
Yeah.
Like that. But,
so
no, it's good, George. That's good.
So what do you indulge in when you haven't got when you've got the opportunity?
It's the same old thing, George. Again, it's I suppose if we're going on that criteria we said, something I don't get paid to do, but something I enjoy. No.
What are you thinking?
I you know, for me, it's not so much a hobby, George, but I do enjoy, and this is where I'll sort of add a sort of caveat: working events, old tractors and stuff. Yeah. Not when I'm filming. So there are times now, and the more the years have gone on, because I used to take a camera along and put it up on the channel, and I still do.
Yeah.
But there's some days, because you know, as things have grown, you do a lot more filming, as we said. You know, always got the camera out. There are some days that you want to just go to a working event and not have a camera, not have to sit around and wait for that shot, not have to come and work. Just
it's work. It ends up being work, doesn't it? Work, you know, it spoils the day. I'm totally with you on that.
So I enjoy that.
Yeah.
You know, George, if I'd have said this to myself 10 years ago, I'd have sort of said, "You silly old fart," you know. Because of where I live, I'm fortunate enough to be, you know, not far from the coast and that, especially in the winter time, on a crisp blue, sunny winter's day. It's cold.
Yeah.
Good coat, wrap up, warm gloves, whatever. Go out to the coast, take the dog, and just run up and down that beach. Well, the dog, not me, but the dogs run down that beach.
Yeah, I was running shorts.
I lie, wasn't I?
Yeah.
That's just, you got the noise of that sea.
Yeah.
You've got that smell. You've got that freshness of that day. It's lovely and sunny, but it's cold and it's crisp. And God, that sounds boring, doesn't it? It does. But do you know what I'm saying? And that's why I said 10 years ago I'd have said the same thing.
Yeah.
I love that. Just seeing that dog enjoying itself. Yeah. You know, I love that. But that, it's not.
It's funny how age, your priorities change, don't they? With age.
It's a pity you couldn't. It's probably a very good thing you can't, but it's a pity you couldn't have the benefit of the years, the experience and the wisdom of the years when you were younger. Because when I was younger, again, you know, and I'm somebody that took a lot of opportunities and ran with them. But there's a lot of stuff I just let go by, and I never appreciated it. I don't think as much as I'm not saying I didn't recognise it. That's good, you know. I said, but I just think as you grow older, you grow to appreciate the things around. And here's the other thing: as you get older, and again, you know, anyone that's sort of, you know, teens or 20s, they'll be this and saying, "Oh yeah, I know, but whatever," you know. It's honestly, and I'm not saying this in a regret way or a morose way. I'm telling you, you know, these are good things you got coming. That when you start appreciating what's around you, and you know, the best things are free. What you got, As I said, there's the sea. I know you, but fish. Just let them, once you bought, you know, but let them do what they do. Some of the scenery, you know, this is one thing I have always loved though. Again, especially spring, summertime. That's 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30, and the sun's just coming up. Right? And you're out, you're driving somewhere, or you just started up, you got on a machine, you're getting it warmed up. Right? There's nothing, you cannot put a value on that. Seeing that sun come up at that early hour.
There's something about it, isn't there?
There is, George. And you know, it's things like that. Well, whatever, you know, no. I'm more interested on that big brand new tractor I've just got to go and start up. And you do when you're younger. But you kind of miss that time and that environment and that view where that lovely big new tractor is. And as you get a bit older, when you're going to that lovely new tractor or digger or truck at that early hour in the morning, that's not the main thing. That tractor's lovely and you're going to be driving that today, but boy, what a time of the day.
It's the sensation of
and hearing the
time,
as I said, people listening to, oh my Christ, you know, genuinely.
Yeah, you bloody hell fart, but
that's it. And this is what I'm saying. That's not one of those, I'm looking back at it. No, you got this to come. And I'm so bloody happy that I am appreciating it now, George, you know. And Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And then, you know, to a degree, George, I suppose we've both got to say, YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly did start out
as an element of a hobby, isn't it? You know, I mean, no disrespect to any of our followers and whatever, but it started off 100% of, well, I'm just going to put some stuff on if people watch it or whatever. But now I think we've both feel, you know, because of how loyal our followers have been and how much support they've given us. Look, your channel, my channel, the joint channel, the Talking Point. It's almost like an obligation, and not a nasty one.
Yeah.
It's not a chore. But we think, George, what, you know, look at that tractor. That's a good tractor. Tell you what, we'll get a day's filming out of that, and we can put it on the channel for their enjoyment.
They'll like that. Yeah.
They'll like that.
Yeah.
So it's gone from being just a hobby. It's more of a it's a bit of an obligation because we do want to. It's a two-way thing.
It is, isn't it?
YouTube for us is it's not all about, hi fans, look at me, I'm great.
Are we important?
You know, aren't we important? And we're great, and you know, we're doing. No, look at me, I'm wonderful. No, it's not that. You know, I've always tried to do that. See, my channel, George, has grown steady. As of yours, you know, yours as well. A lot of them, some of them just go poof, like virtually
overnight, yeah.
And like a lot of big stars, they just fizzle. But as I've grown steady, my followers have grown with me and stayed with me.
Yeah.
And they've stayed true and loyal. And that's nice for me, because then I'm like, well, God, would you have a look at this one, Mark?
Yeah.
We'll do this, we'll do that.
Yeah, you know almost.
Yeah, that's right. And as I said, so I know I do. I think, no, I'll tell you what, they'd love to see this.
Yeah.
I'll go and see that bloody tractor, and I'm going to film that, or we're going to get that one stripped out, and I'll film it. Where a lot of the time I'll just be, I've got to do it anyway, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, tell you what, I'll get the cameras
out and
I'll do it.
We'll film it.
You know. So yeah, I think YouTube's still a bit of a hobby.
I think it's classed as that, can't
hobby, isn't it? You know, I say, especially when, for us, we get those opportunities to travel and look at a show or stuff and film it for people. I know we're filming and we're doing it again for the channel. Yeah. You know, but we have a good time.
Oh yeah.
And that's a hobby.
That's definitely a hobby. Yeah.
So yeah,
I
think that's yeah. So what?
You ever sport? Did you ever
sport? What? Do I look like someone's? Listen,
You've
when I
never
was
done
at school, I used to play rugby.
Yeah.
And I was good. I was quick, you know, as well.
Yeah.
So I played rugby.
Why'd you stop? Work. So why did you stop? Work, was it?
I tell you why I stopped, George. My mate Spencer, big lad, good rugby player, good rugby player. We went down and he got pushed and he stood on my chest and that bloody split, I think, bruised all the intercostal muscles. Yeah, like crack. It was like someone just, you know. But I always remember he tried to, take his weight up as well as he did.
Yes, yeah.
And he piled, over the other side, and somebody went on top. It's just one of those. It's unlucky sort of thing. And that for 3 or 4 years, as I was growing up, then sort of probably sort of 16, 17, was a big thing. I used to.
That really did.
Yeah, I mean, because the muscles, they scarred or something when they got back, they sort of scarred, and that was sort of tight, but you just exercised and break it. I'm fine and all that, that's fine. But that's what put a bloody stop to that. And I'll be honest with you, after that, because I didn't really want to do too much. So that was obviously at school, and so now a bit of cricket now and again, I suppose. Never was a footballer.
No.
Never was a footballer, but as far as sport goes. Horse riding, did a fair bit of that. Yeah.
I couldn't see you on a horse, sort of thing. But
there's a lot you couldn't see. But did a lot. Did a lot, and horse riding and stuff, and I enjoyed that, cross country stuff like that. But anyway, so no, that sport was never. I was never one of these ones who went to the football or was in a Sunday league or anything like that. But what about you?
When I was at school, I was quite big into sport actually. Yeah, cricket, rugby, bit of football.
Darts.
Only recently. Yeah, I didn't do too much of that at school. Rugby. I had to stop playing rugby because
you're a brat.
not really. I was actually. I was known as a danger man. In rugby.
What?
I was called the danger man because we were playing the game one time, and of course I was back then. I was still about 6 foot. I was quite big in that, like for another sort of bigger kid sort of thing.
Yeah.
And anyway, I got the ball. I was running down the field, and this other kid come to tackle me, and he sort of went to tackle me like that. And I was running directly at him, kneed him in the head, knocked him out.
Right.
So after that, I was known as Danger Man. But after three
Danger Mouse.
that was more accurate, I think. After 3 dislocated knees, I had to pack the old rugby up lot.
I think so.
Yeah.
I only got 2 knees to dislocate. Dislocated 3.
Yeah, so that packed that up, but I did enjoy my cricket. Used to play with my dad. Played for the local village as well.
Yeah.
That only stopped really down to farming.
Yeah.
You know, robbing the time. Like, you know, there's no, the harvest and everything. There was never any time to out off to play cricket. So that sort of.
I'll just tell you a quick story about my old mate and his dad. Bless him. Passed away recently, but lovely old boy. He had a piece of land he gave to the village. It was a cricket pitch, and he used to play himself, and so did his lad and everything. Anyway, his lad sort of grew out of it and whatever. So the old man carried on and playing, the sort of seniors or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's there always are committees and stuff, and 1 or 2 characters, and basically they decided that they didn't want him on the cricket team.
Right.
So they voted him off for the next season, and thought they were all big and well, if you don't like it, you ain't in the team. And he said, "That's all right."
Did they forget that he owned the?
He played the fucking lot up. Seriously, he played the pitch up. That's straight up, mate. And I just thought, that's like, take the ball away, I'll take the pitch away. Good on him. Bless him.
Fair play,
Yeah, fair play.
He didn't take that badly at all, did he?
No. So, but oh well. So you're a bit of a cricketer then?
Yeah, I mean we're talking 25 years ago now since I last played. Yeah. It's like I might take up again in.
I wouldn't.
No.
No.
I'm not sure if I'm fit enough to be fair. I'm really not sure.
No. Bowls.
Yeah.
I can see you playing bowls.
I've done a bit of bowls.
Yeah.
Used to play a bit of bowls.
A pair of white slacks.
Yeah,
I can see you doing that.
Yeah, that's my style, that is, mate.
Yeah. No, it's a nice game as well. It's been a relaxing sort of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be a hobby, George. Take on bowls, you and I.
Next question. Oh, it's a good one.
George.
Favourite car. What is your favourite car? Alright, I'm going to split this down the middle. So you got favourite car you've owned.
Yes, and favourite car you've just liked to have.
You read my mind.
Yeah. Which isn't difficult.
It's
like an old bin bag and it's just empty. What? Favourite car I've owned?
Yeah.
Well,
what sort of one you wish you'd kept, or wish you still had, or you know what I mean?
Countless Land Rovers and stuff. Some I still got.
Yeah, but anything interesting?
Yeah. I don't know, George. Do you know what? I tell you what. I tell you a car that was. So maybe I wish I still kept it, but I tell you a car that was. You know what I should. I appreciate it. I had a cylinder head go on one of my Land Rovers.
Right.
When I as I got bloody hell.
I was talking Series 3.
No, Defender. No, not a Defender. Actually, it was a 110. It was a 110 turbo diesel. So just before the Defenders, or when they were called Defenders.
Yeah.
But a 110 pickup, cylinder head went, turbo diesel engine. On the bloody hell. Anyway, managed to get it back. Well, there's nothing I can do. I got to get to work the next day, and the lads will pick me up. But I need to be able to get there myself.
Yeah.
So they said, "We'll pick you up the next day." And I was looking through the local paper, and I saw 250 quid of your finest English pounds.
Yeah.
A Montego. 1.6.
Oh yeah.
6 months tax and ticket. So I just rang them up. So I'll be on the way home at night. So on the way home, they dropped me round to look at this car. I paid the man and I drove that.
Yeah.
And I did drive that for the next in fact I put another ticket on it at the end of the 6 months.
Yeah.
Because it was just so reliable. You got in that and that went.
Started up.
Just up and went.
Yeah, you got to where you were going, got back to where you wanted to be.
Yeah. And I always remember one night went round my mates in that.
Yeah.
And we always took his truck out because you get more of us in it.
Yeah.
And I'd drive. He'd drink and all his mates would drink and I'd drive. So we got back to his about 2 a.m, drove into his driveway. My car, old Montego, was there.
Yeah.
And I said, got out of his truck, right mate, nice one. I'll see you next weekend. Yeah, okay. Try to keep quiet for his mum and dad.
Yeah.
I got in there with Montego, put the key in, turned the ignition, and that went boom! And I thought, right, what the hell was that? Like, the bonnet sort of jumped.
Yeah.
And he right, yeah. And you know, I mean, I was a bit of a handful, a bit of a nuisance back in the day, and I thought somebody probably put a carb on me. But anyway, we popped the bonnet, and the battery had exploded. So what we had to do is then get the remnants of this old battery out,
Right.
and we went and robbed one off his scraper tractor. And we had to lay a rag on top because it was a bit too tall.
It's a good touch bonnet, yeah.
And I had to just then put this rag on top and just get the bonnet down on one click and go home at a steady, sedate pace.
So you bonnet
didn't
yeah.
fly out. Yeah, and that's what we did, yeah. But that old Montego, so nothing special. I mean, a right old breaker.
Yeah.
But a reliable little old nail, that was, you know.
Yeah.
That sounded lovely. But I had those bloody odd metric sized tyres on it as well.
Yeah.
That were like, you know, a fortune. But no, as just a jumping old, you know, breaker, that was a fantastic car. But yeah, I should maybe have given that a bit more credit than I did at the time. Yeah. What about you? What car do you have and you regret selling?
Oh, I've had a lot of cars. Mainly due to a lot of accidents, I suppose.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I suppose some of the most interesting ones I've had I had a Skyline, a Nissan a GTS, the single turbo rear drive one, R33. That was a good car. It used to go through turbos like I go through fish and chip dinners.
Really?
But yeah, I do wish I would have kept that because they've gone up a lot in price as well. But not. I mean, that would have been a bonus, but
collectible though.
Yeah. But it was just one of them cars that makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck, sort of thing. Like, you know, it's just the noise and the sensation of driving it. Because it's not like today's cars where you sort of cocooned in your.
You're completely separate from the environment, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what they aim for.
They
you know,
do, of course. Yeah.
But in that, you can feel the vibrations. You know, the steer. You know, you got a lot of feedback from it. So that was a
ball joint probably gone, George.
That's why it wobbled all over the shop. So that was a real good car. We should have kept that. But some of the old, a bit like you, I've had quite a few old nails, and
are they the ones that are the most fun though?
Yes,
sort of grins per mile. They're the ones.
I had a couple of Raider 820s. Do you remember them?
Yeah,
like
they were a Honda produced thing.
Were they?
They were done, I think, in joint partnership with Honda. Yeah,
oh,
they
right.
were reliable.
That's why they were pretty good then. Like, they were like about 20 foot long, about 10 foot wide.
Yeah,
they were like sort
big
of
old boat, weren't they?
Yeah. They were a lot of fun because they were like 2 litre turbo.
Yeah.
Even for a big car, they sort of they got on with the job. But I suppose there's one car that. I do remember what happened to it actually. I parked it up for a long time and went to start it. The cam belt had gone.
Right.
And
just before it, bloody cam belt went on that Montego.
Oh, did it?
At 70, and do you know what? That just went and just was silent and just cruised. They're designed so that you couldn't collide.
Yeah, they got clearance.
Yeah.
Didn't the Defenders have? Did the 300 TDIs have that, or am I thinking of something else?
I don't know.
But I know what you mean. That
because
it didn't destroy itself.
I literally got my mate dragged me home. The next day, just lined the marks up, slipped the belt over, like 4 quid belt. That was away.
Way you go.
Anyway,
you do that these days, would you?
No.
No, but anyway, that was sad demise of this car, which was Citroen BX. Do you remember the old Citroen BX?
Yeah.
Estate.
Yeah. Yes.
GTI.
Really?
Can you believe they made a GTI version of one of them? For those that don't know what a Citroen BX is, it's an old
a wedgie looking.
Yeah, that rided on hydrogas suspension that was adjustable.
The same suspension spheres as what's on a fast track.
That's right, yeah.
Because they got Citroen design stamped on them.
Well, I changed the ones on my fast track. They got Citroen.
Rolls Royce, they used the Citroen suspension.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was, it was a clown car, really. Amazing straight line speed. It was a 1.8. I don't think it was turbo, but it was got a lot of grunt.
Yeah.
You know, at one point back then, there's sort of, them GTIs.
They were always well advanced with the technology, those French cars, the Citroens and the Renaults, but they're let down by the electrics.
Yeah.
Weren't they? They just, I don't know where they got their electrics from.
Very
plasticky. But they were just nice touches, didn't they?
Yeah, they were like forward thinking, weren't they?
They were, very much so.
But it was just sometimes the finish on them wasn't quite as good as they ought to be.
It was shite, George.
That's shite. One way of putting it. But that was a hilarious car, it's a bit like going on a rowing boat round a corner, but as soon as you hit straight off, it was amazing when you got onto a dual carriageway and you were just leaving like Golfs and Fiestas and everything behind you.
We've concluded, really, George, and people are asking us, I say, what cars, the best cars you've had. I've come up with a 1.6 Montego, and you've come up with a Citroen BX.
Yeah. Not exactly ideal cars.
People say, what about a Bugatti or a Ferrari? No.
Old Citroen, old Montego.
Yeah. Well, George, I don't know how long I've been doing this, but we've got a fair old bit of
quite a while, I reckon.
Stuff here. It's good. But anyway, whatever it is, well, as I said, I think it's something different for us to do a podcast, as you said. And as I said, it's not a visual thing, although we've got the camera on. If somebody wants to sit there, they can put it up on the background maybe and frighten the cat. But no, as I said, it's just, I think it's nice. It's just nice actually to sit and just have a chat with you and have a bit of a laugh.
Forget about setting anything up or
no, that's right.
Get the camera going and have a chat. Or we have a laugh.
That's what it's all about. We always do, George. It's nice, and that's nice. I think people often sort of say, "Oh, I'd love to come have a beer with you two and whatever," and it's not always possible. But at least like this, maybe it is. You can sort of have a bit more of the what it's like with you and me. You can sort of listen.
You can see. We haven't put this on for an hour and a half. Like this is. As it is with us, between us,
just chatting about it. And I think, going ahead, because people have already been sort of saying, I've mentioned we're going to do this, you're going to keep doing it. So, all I'd say is, again, for those that are waiting for videos will be going up, as we said, not a problem. But podcasts, something a bit different, and that gives you another outlet that, you haven't got to sit there and watch it. You just say, put it on, listen to it.
There you go.
Love it. But if you've got any questions, any other questions, put them in the comment section, and then when we do another one, and we're going to have different people on over, as time progresses, different guests, and people will join me and George. If George isn't around, somebody else will be sitting there and we can chat to them and whatever. That's the whole point of this. But, if you've got any questions for me and George for a future episode, you just put them in the comments section.
Let us know.
Let us know, because it's always nice, as I said, it's
enjoyable for us. We just have a nice chat about old times.
And I find out things as well, like you've been on a forwarder and then said a bloody thing to me.
Oh, you've apparently been on the space show. We didn't mention that, did you?
Yeah, but anyway, that's
there you go.
Something I wouldn't want to be on. I don't think it's space show. That's not my thing. But anyway, so brilliant. So thanks ever so much, everybody, and. We'll catch you on the next one.
We will, won't we? Yeah.
All right. So, do well.
Ta-ta.
Shut up, you.